I want to talk to you about something that will change your life the moment you master it. Something that will set you free. Today, I want to talk about how smart people deal with toxic people. Because let's be real, life will always introduce us to people who drain us, disrespect us, and disrupt our peace. But how we respond, that's where the power lies. The first thing you need to know is this: toxic people thrive on your reaction. They want to push your buttons, make you feel small, and keep you stuck in their web. But a smart person knows that reacting emotionally is exactly what they want. So instead of engaging in their chaos, you rise above it. You don't explain, you don't beg, you don't fight for a seat at a table that was never built for you. Toxic people thrive on your reaction because to them your emotional response is fuel. They push buttons, create drama, and manipulate situations just to see how you will react. It's not always obvious, it can be subtle, disguised as concern, as humor, as just being honest. But make no mistake, their goal is control. They want to see you upset. They want to see you defending yourself. They want to see you prove your worth to them. Because the moment you react, the moment you engage, you have given them exactly what they wanted: power over you. Think about it. How many times have you left a conversation feeling drained, questioning yourself, replaying what you could have said differently? That is what toxic people want. They thrive in environments where emotions run high because it gives them the upper hand. They feed off conflict. They feed off your frustration, your anger, your hurt. It reassures them that they have an impact on you. That's why no matter how much you explain yourself, no matter how much you try to reason with them, it will never be enough. Because they were never listening to understand. They were listening to manipulate. Smart people recognize this pattern and refuse to play the game. They understand that not every battle is worth fighting. That sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Instead of arguing, they walk away. Instead of explaining, they set boundaries. Instead of reacting emotionally, they stay calm and collected. Because the moment you stop giving them what they crave, the emotional reaction, the attention, the validation, their power begins to fade. This is why it is so important to master emotional control. The ability to remain unbothered, to disengage, to choose peace over chaos is what separates the smart from the trap. It is not weakness, it is strength. It is knowing that you do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. It is understanding that you do not owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. It is realizing that your energy is valuable and not everyone deserves access to it. So the next time a toxic person tries to provoke you, remember this: they are only as powerful as the reaction you give them. Take that power back. Let them talk. Let them twist the story. Let them assume whatever they want. Your silence, your indifference, your ability to rise above is the one thing they cannot handle. And when you stop feeding their negativity, when you refuse to engage in their chaos, they will eventually have no choice but to look elsewhere for their supply. Because a toxic person without an audience is just a voice echoing into nothing. And that, my friends, is how you win. Silence and distance are often the best responses because they remove the fuel that toxic people need to keep their games going. Toxic individuals thrive on engagement. They want you to argue, to defend yourself, to explain, to fight back. They want you to be emotionally invested in the chaos they create. The more you react, the more you give them power. But when you respond with silence and create distance, you take that power away. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is knowing that not every battle is worth fighting, that not every insult needs a rebuttal, that not every lie requires correction. Silence speaks louder than words because it sends a clear message: you are not worth my energy. And that is something toxic people cannot handle. They want a reaction. They want to see that they still have control over your emotions. But when you refuse to give them that satisfaction, they become frustrated. They will try harder at first, provoking, pushing, baiting you into a response. But when they realize that no matter what they do, they cannot shake you, they lose interest. They move on. Distance is just as powerful. When you remove yourself from a toxic environment, whether physically, emotionally, or mentally, you reclaim your peace. Some people will not change no matter how much you hope, no matter how much you explain, no matter how much love you show them. And that is why distance is necessary. You cannot heal in the same place that made you sick. You cannot grow in an environment that stifles you. And you cannot become your best self when you are surrounded by people who constantly bring out the worst in you. Creating distance doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you wish them harm. It simply means you respect yourself enough to walk away. It means you choose your peace over their dysfunction. It means you understand that some relationships are better loved from afar. Distance gives you clarity. It allows you to see things for what they are without the emotional clouding that proximity creates. When you step away, you start to notice patterns you ignored before. You realize how much energy you wasted trying to fix something that was never meant to be fixed. You see how much lighter you feel without their negativity weighing you down. There is power in detachment. When you no longer seek validation from those who belittle you, when you no longer depend on the approval of people who manipulate you, when you stop explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you, that is freedom. That is strength. So the next time a toxic person tries to draw you into their storm, resist the urge to fight back. Resist the temptation to prove yourself. Choose silence, choose distance, choose yourself. Because not every battle needs to be fought, and sometimes the greatest act of power is simply walking away. Proximity does not equal loyalty, yet so many people mistake physical closeness, shared history, or even blood relations for genuine support and respect. Just because someone has been in your life for years, just because they are a relative, a childhood friend, or someone you see every day does not mean they are truly for you. Loyalty is not about who has been around the longest. It is about who genuinely values you, respects you, and wants the best for you. Toxic people often use proximity as a means of control. They assume that because they have always been part of your life, they have a right to stay regardless of how they treat you. They guilt trip you with phrases like, "But we've been friends for so long," or "Family is family no matter what." They remind you of all the times they were around, all the things you have been through together, as if history alone is enough to justify their place in your life. But the truth is, loyalty is proven through actions, not time. Someone who truly cares for you will respect your boundaries, uplift you, and contribute to your well-being, not drain it. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones holding you back the most. They may not always do it intentionally, but their negativity, their lack of support, their inability to celebrate your success, these things can slowly eat away at your confidence, your peace, and your growth. You might find yourself constantly justifying their behavior, excusing their toxic traits, saying things like, "That's just how they are," or "They don't mean any harm." But deep down, you know that their presence in your life is more damaging than beneficial. Loyalty is about alignment. It is about shared values, mutual respect, and genuine care. Someone who is truly loyal to you will not compete with you, will not belittle you, and will not manipulate you to maintain control. They will support your growth, even when it means you are evolving beyond the version of yourself they once knew. They will respect your decisions, even if they don't always understand them. They will not weaponize history against you to guilt you into staying in a toxic cycle. There comes a point when you have to stop prioritizing longevity over quality. You have to ask yourself, is this person truly loyal to me, or are they just familiar? Familiarity can be comforting, but comfort should never come at the cost of your peace. You can love people from a distance. You can be grateful for the role they once played in your life without allowing them to continue hurting you. You can acknowledge the past without feeling obligated to carry people into your future. Releasing toxic relationships is not an act of disloyalty, it is an act of self-respect. You owe it to yourself to surround yourself with people who pour into you as much as you pour into them. You deserve relationships built on trust, respect, and mutual support, not just history and obligation. Because at the end of the day, proximity does not equal loyalty. Loyalty is a choice, and the people who truly care about you will show it not just with their words, but with their actions. Setting boundaries and standing firm is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect you can practice. It is the difference between living life on your own terms and allowing others to dictate your energy, time, and peace. Yet, so many people struggle with boundaries because they have been conditioned to believe that saying no is selfish, that putting themselves first is wrong, or that prioritizing their well-being makes them a bad person. But the truth is, boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about creating a space where love, respect, and mutual understanding can thrive. The people who resist your boundaries the most are often the ones who benefited from you not having any. They are the ones who were comfortable taking advantage of your kindness, manipulating your emotions, and draining your energy without giving anything in return. When you start setting boundaries, you will see people's true colors. Some will respect them, some will adjust, and others will try to make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. But remember this, a person who truly values you will never be offended by your need for self-care. The only ones who get angry when you enforce boundaries are the ones who are benefiting from you having none. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about knowing what you will and will not tolerate. They are about recognizing when a relationship, situation, or behavior is no longer serving you and having the courage to walk away. You do not have to explain yourself. You do not have to justify why you are protecting your peace. No is a complete sentence. I'm not comfortable with that as a valid reason. I will not allow myself to be treated this way as a firm declaration of self-worth. You owe no one an apology for demanding respect. Standing firm in your boundaries means not backing down when met with resistance. Toxic people will test you. They will push, manipulate, and even try to guilt trip you into bending to their will. They will call you difficult, selfish, or ungrateful because they want to make you question yourself. But standing firm means not allowing their words or tactics to shake you. It means knowing deep down that protecting yourself is not up for debate. It means recognizing that your peace, your mental health, and your happiness are more important than someone else's opinion of you. Setting boundaries also means enforcing consequences. It is not enough to just state what you will and will not tolerate. You must also follow through. If someone repeatedly crosses a boundary, they are showing you that they do not respect you. And when someone does not respect you, it is your responsibility to decide what happens next. Maybe that means limiting your time with them. Maybe that means cutting off access to certain parts of your life. Maybe that means walking away completely. Whatever it is, do not be afraid to follow through. Because if you do not enforce your boundaries, people will learn that they can ignore them without consequences. At the end of the day, setting boundaries is an act of self-love. It is about valuing yourself enough to demand the treatment you deserve. It is about recognizing that you are not responsible for managing other people's emotions at the expense of your own well-being. It is about understanding that real relationships, whether friendships, family, or romantic partnerships, are built on mutual respect, not obligation or guilt. Do not let anyone make you feel bad for setting boundaries. The people who truly love and respect you will honor them, even if it takes time for them to adjust. And the ones who refuse to respect them, let them go. Because anyone who does not respect your boundaries does not deserve access to you. Your peace is priceless, so guard it fiercely. In a world filled with noise, negativity, and emotional chaos, protecting your inner peace is not just an act of self-care, it is an act of survival. Too often, people sacrifice their peace for the sake of others, staying in toxic relationships, engaging in unnecessary conflicts, allowing themselves to be drained by people who bring nothing but stress into their lives. They do this because they feel obligated, because they are afraid of disappointing others, or because they have been conditioned to believe that putting themselves first is selfish. But the truth is, if you do not guard your peace, no one else will. Peace is not something that just happens. It is something you must intentionally cultivate and protect. It requires conscious decisions about the people you allow into your space, the conversations you engage in, and the energy you entertain. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every battle deserves your attention. Not every situation requires your involvement. One of the greatest lessons you will ever learn is that your energy is sacred and you have the right to decide who and what is worthy of it. There will always be people who try to disrupt your peace, people who thrive on drama, who live in negativity, who find pleasure in bringing others down. They will try to pull you into their storms, baiting you into arguments, making you feel guilty for choosing yourself, and trying to convince you that you owe them your time and energy. But you do not. You do not owe anyone access to your mind, your emotions, or your life if they bring you nothing but stress and pain. Protecting your peace means learning to walk away without explaining yourself. It means understanding that your well-being is more important than someone else's comfort. Guarding your peace fiercely means mastering the art of saying no without guilt. It means declining invitations that drain you, avoiding conversations that serve no purpose, and disconnecting from people who leave you feeling exhausted rather than uplifted. It means recognizing that you are not responsible for fixing others, carrying their burdens, or absorbing their negativity. You can be a kind, compassionate person and still refuse to be a dumping ground for other people's toxicity. One of the hardest but most liberating truths you will ever accept is that peace often comes at the cost of losing people. Not everyone will understand your need for solitude. Not everyone will support your decision to prioritize yourself. Some will take offense. Some will accuse you of changing. Some will try to make you feel guilty for not being available to them 24/7. But do not let that guilt consume you. Growth requires change, and sometimes that change means letting go of relationships that no longer align with who you are becoming. Guarding your peace also means protecting your thoughts. The battles we fight in our own minds are often the ones that steal our joy the most. Overthinking, self-doubt, dwelling on past mistakes, these things rob you of your peace just as much as external chaos does. Learning to control your thoughts, to redirect your focus to what truly matters, is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the opinions of others. You are the person you choose to be today, and you deserve to live with a mind that is at ease. At the end of the day, peace is the foundation of happiness. Without it, even the best moments feel tainted by stress and worry. But with it, even the smallest things feel beautiful and fulfilling. So choose your peace. Protect it from people who drain you, from thoughts that torment you, from situations that do not serve you. Make it your priority. Make it non-negotiable, because when you guard your peace fiercely, you create a life that is full of clarity, joy, and purpose, a life that truly belongs to you. It is not your job to fix or change toxic people. No matter how much you care, no matter how much potential you see in them, no matter how many times you forgive, explain, or try to guide them toward a better path, real change must come from within. And that is something only they can decide for themselves. Many people fall into the trap of believing that if they just love harder, if they are more patient, if they endure just a little longer, the toxic person in their life will finally see the light and change. But the hard truth is that you cannot heal someone who does not see a problem with their behavior. You cannot force someone to grow who refuses to acknowledge their own flaws. You cannot teach someone respect, kindness, or empathy if they do not want to learn. Toxic people often thrive on the belief that others will stick around and tolerate their behavior. They manipulate, lie, guilt trip, and make promises they never intend to keep, all to maintain control over those who enable them. They take advantage of kind-hearted people who want to help, who want to believe the best in them, who hold on to hope that one day they will change. But change does not happen because of hope. It happens because of personal accountability. And if someone refuses to take responsibility for their actions, there is nothing you can do to make them different. The longer you try to fix a toxic person, the more drained, broken, and exhausted you will become. You will sacrifice your own well-being trying to heal someone who thrives on chaos. You will keep giving and giving until you have nothing left, only to realize that no matter how much you pour into them, they will never be full. That is because toxic people do not seek healing, they seek control. And as long as you are trying to fix them, they know they still have power over you. Letting go of the idea that you can change someone is one of the most freeing realizations you will ever have. It is not your job to fix them. It is not your responsibility to carry their baggage. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep them warm. Walking away does not mean you do not care. It means you care about yourself enough to stop being drained by someone who refuses to do the work for themselves. There is nothing wrong with wanting to help people grow, but there is a fine line between supporting someone's journey and losing yourself in their dysfunction. If someone is unwilling to change, no amount of love, patience, or effort on your part will make a difference. You can offer support, but they must take the steps. You can encourage, but they must do the work. And if they refuse, then your only option is to protect yourself and move forward. You deserve relationships that are mutual, where love and respect flow both ways. You deserve to be surrounded by people who take responsibility for their own healing, rather than expecting you to fix them. You deserve peace, not the constant chaos of someone else's unresolved issues. So stop waiting for them to change. Stop believing that if you hold on just a little longer, they will suddenly become the person you hoped they would be. Stop sacrificing your own happiness for someone who does not value your effort. You cannot fix them, and you are not supposed to. Let them be who they are and choose yourself instead. Stop feeding their negativity. When you disengage, they lose power. Toxic people thrive on reaction. They live for conflict, for drama, for the ability to pull others into their storm of negativity. They want to see you flustered, defensive, angry, or hurt because your emotional response validates their sense of control. The more you react, the more you feed them, giving them exactly what they want: attention, energy, and a sense of importance in your life. But when you disengage, when you stop playing their game, when you refuse to react to their provocations, they lose their grip on you. Negativity needs an audience. It needs participation. It needs engagement. Toxic individuals, whether they are manipulative friends, controlling family members, or spiteful coworkers, thrive in environments where they can provoke a response. They will say things just to get under your skin. They will twist your words, spread rumors, or deliberately create chaos, knowing that if they push the right buttons, they can pull you into their negativity. But here is the truth. You are not obligated to respond to every provocation. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Disengaging is not about letting them win. It is about reclaiming your peace. Toxic people will do whatever they can to draw you back into their cycle: guilt trips, passive-aggressive comments, outright attacks. But the moment you decide to stop reacting, you take away their power. They cannot control someone who refuses to play along. They cannot manipulate someone who is emotionally detached from their games. There is incredible strength in silence. When you choose not to engage, you are making a statement louder than words. You do not control me. You are showing them that their negativity has no hold over your emotions, your thoughts, or your life. And eventually they will realize that without your reaction, they have nothing to work with. Disengaging does not mean you are weak or passive. It does not mean you are avoiding conflict out of fear. It means you are mature enough to understand that some battles are not worth fighting. It means you know that your energy is precious, and wasting it on someone who is only interested in creating drama is a disservice to yourself. Walking away is a power move. Ignoring negativity is a power move. Refusing to engage is a power move. It means you have reached a place in your life where you value your peace more than the temporary satisfaction of arguing with someone who will never change. It means you have chosen to invest your energy in things that uplift you rather than things that drain you. And here is what happens when you stop feeding their negativity. They either change or they fade away. Some will get bored and move on to someone else they can manipulate. Others will be forced to reflect on their own behavior because they are no longer getting the reaction they crave. Either way, you win. Either way, you are free. So the next time someone tries to bait you into an argument, the next time they push your buttons, the next time they try to drag you into their negativity, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you are not required to respond. You are not required to entertain their toxicity. You are allowed to protect your energy. Because when you disengage, they lose power and you reclaim yours. Reclaim your power by choosing yourself. For too long, too many people have been conditioned to believe that their worth is tied to how much they give to others, how much they endure, and how much they sacrifice. They pour all their energy into making other people happy, into fixing broken relationships, into proving their loyalty, even when it costs them their peace, their joy, and their sense of self. But true power does not come from how much you give to others at your own expense. True power comes from recognizing that you deserve to choose yourself first. Choosing yourself does not mean you do not care about others. It does not mean you are selfish or unkind. It means you refuse to abandon yourself for the sake of people who would never do the same for you. It means you understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It means you are no longer willing to sacrifice your well-being to maintain relationships that drain you. For too long, toxic people have convinced you that prioritizing yourself is wrong. They have used guilt to keep you stuck, making you feel responsible for their emotions, their actions, and their lives. They have made you believe that walking away means you are weak, that saying no makes you a bad person, that setting boundaries is an act of cruelty. But here's the truth. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. When you choose yourself, you stop waiting for others to validate your worth. You stop hoping that people will change. You stop giving chance after chance to those who have already shown you they are incapable of meeting you at the level of love and respect you deserve. You stop begging for the bare minimum. Instead, you take back control of your happiness. You set boundaries and enforce them. You say no without guilt. You walk away from toxic situations without explaining yourself. You become the author of your own life. Choosing yourself means protecting your energy. It means removing yourself from environments that do not serve you. It means distancing yourself from people who do not respect you. It means understanding that you are not obligated to fix, heal, or carry anyone who refuses to take responsibility for their own growth. It means deciding that your peace, your joy, and your dreams matter without feeling like you need permission from anyone to pursue them. And here's the most powerful part: when you choose yourself, everything changes. You start attracting people who respect you instead of those who take advantage of you. You start feeling lighter because you are no longer carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. You start thriving because you are finally giving yourself the love and care you always deserved. Choosing yourself is a revolution. It is a radical act of self-love in a world that constantly asks you to put others first, to shrink yourself, to tolerate mistreatment for the sake of keeping the peace. But real peace does not come from making everyone else happy at your own expense. Real peace comes from standing in your power and refusing to settle for anything less than what you deserve. So reclaim your power. Choose yourself unapologetically. Love yourself fiercely. Walk away when necessary. Prioritize your well-being without guilt. Stop waiting for permission to put yourself first. You are worthy. You are enough. And you deserve a life that reflects that truth. Give yourself permission to walk away. Too often, people stay in situations that no longer serve them, relationships that drain them, friendships that hurt more than heal, jobs that diminish their spirit because they feel obligated, because they are afraid of disappointing others, or because they have been conditioned to believe that leaving is a sign of failure. But the truth is, walking away is not giving up. It is refusing to settle for less than you deserve. You do not need permission from anyone else to choose yourself. You do not need validation to justify why you are leaving something that makes you unhappy. You do not owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your peace. Too many people spend years trapped in toxic cycles, hoping things will change, waiting for the right moment to leave, or believing that if they just try harder, everything will get better. But deep down, they already know the truth: they deserve more. And yet they stay out of fear, out of guilt, out of the mistaken belief that they must endure suffering to prove their loyalty. But here's what you need to understand: your loyalty should never come at the cost of your well-being. You were not put on this earth to be drained, mistreated, or undervalued. You do not have to keep holding on to something that is breaking you just because you have invested time in it. Time spent in a toxic situation is not a reason to stay, it is a reason to leave. The longer you hold on, the more you lose yourself. The longer you try to fix what cannot be fixed, the more exhausted and depleted you become. Walking away is not weakness, it is strength. It takes courage to remove yourself from a place that no longer nurtures you. It takes self-respect to say, "I deserve better than this." It takes power to stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand, to stop waiting for things to change, and to finally step into the life that you truly deserve. When you walk away, you reclaim your freedom. You stop allowing toxic people to have control over your emotions. You free yourself from the burden of trying to fix something that is beyond repair. You make space for new opportunities, for healthier relationships, for real happiness. You open the door to the life that was always meant for you, the one where you are no longer just surviving, but thriving. People will try to make you feel guilty for leaving. They will call you selfish. They will tell you that you are overreacting. They will try to manipulate you into staying because your absence means they will no longer have access to your energy, your kindness, or your effort. But do not let their words keep you stuck. People who truly love and respect you will want what is best for you, even if that means letting you go. You do not owe your life to anyone who mistreats you. You do not have to keep proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. You are allowed to outgrow relationships that no longer align with who you are becoming. You are allowed to leave jobs that make you miserable. You are allowed to walk away from anything that does not bring you peace. You are allowed to choose yourself. So give yourself permission. Let go of the fear. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the idea that staying is the only option. You deserve joy. You deserve peace. You deserve a life that feels good to wake up to. And sometimes the only way to get there is to walk away from what is holding you back.